This is the most shocking and disturbing movie about the Holocaust I have ever seen. Set at the death camp Auschwitz, we never once step inside the camp. We never see one single Jewish person in the entire movie. Yet, this film is horrifying and deeply haunting. The movie sets itself just outside these walls of Auschwitz in the perversely beautiful home and garden of Auschwitz Commandant Rudolf Hess and his family. This is a slice of life movie about one of the most infamous Nazis responsible for the Holocaust. A deep look at the perverse dehumanization of the Jews that people like Hess and his family espoused through the juxtaposition of family life next to an extermination camp. The subtlety of this film in showing the horrors is ingenious, and it's hard to say things like ingenious and brilliant when talking about a movie on the Holocaust. But it is so clever, so unbelievably smart in the way that it makes the atrocities devastatingly impactful. Yet we never see anything visually of the sort occur. The use of sound, imagery, and what is really the core focus of this film, perverse juxtaposition, creates almost a dystopian sci-fi horror movie. And what's worse is that this all actually happened for real. People made these decisions, carried them out, believed they were just, believed that Jews were less than human. This movie hammers this home in such an unseen-before way, as noted, through the Nazi family's happy life directly outside of this monstrous death camp. Juxtaposition is the key in this film, and in fact, the director, Jonathan Glazer, is so brilliant at it. It is quite frankly juxtaperfection. The long tracking shots walking through the garden, which is so perfect, pristine, idyllic, yet in the background the harsh grey walls of Auschwitz, the dialogue of characters about mundane family things, whilst we hear people being shot, the rumbling of crematoriums in the background, the flowers that bloom throughout the garden whilst those inside the next door camp die off, in the thousands daily, the smokestacks pouring out in the distance, shrouding the walls of this idyllic home. It's superb and really hits deeply. Other notable scenes include the wife trying on a Jewish woman's fur coat and lipstick. Where this woman is now, we don't know, but we assume she was a victim of the camps, and these items are stolen spoils, disgustingly repatriated by her murderers. There is also another scene where the commandant and his kids are playing in a river until the remains and ashes of cremated Jews flow downriver, forcing Hess to remove his children and then have them scrubbed meticulously to clean them of the remains of once living human beings. This movie never ceases to shock and disturb. This film is all played with the utmost conviction and believable nonchalance by its actors, which are primarily Hess and his wife. Their home is their dream. Idyllic countryside, a beautiful garden, healthy and happy children, all right next to the walls of Auschwitz. It is crazy. Like I said, it's truly dystopian in feel, but this all happened. The actors themselves aren't breaking any molds, but their subtle, undramatic, natural depictions of what is a husband and wife, who also happen to be the king and queen of Auschwitz, are perfect for hammering home this horrific lack of empathy for what is going on and what they are doing. The only moment we really see Hess upset or perturbed by anything is when he sends out a communication threatening punishment for any soldier caught removing lilacs from his lilac bush, which would cause the bush to lose its aesthetic value. I am not joking. This film constantly demonstrates that it wasn't the Jews who weren't human, it was the Nazis. It's like watching aliens from another planet, true monsters we can never relate to. And again, we feel all of this without ever seeing beyond the walls of the camps. We know what's going on in there, but the minutiae of what went on to make it happen, the normality outside the horrors, is what is the most horrific thing of all. The disgusting twisting of human morality to be complicit and be part of the Holocaust is a truly unfathomable dehumanizing of what it is to be a human, a good human. To get to the moral point of Rudolf Hess and the Nazis just feels utterly incomprehensible to the normal person. It is very difficult to separate the writing from the unbelievable direction and visuals here. It is all perfectly composed for the greatest effect. Most dialogue revolves around the family life, the garden, but we also do get scenes involving Hess's duties, his duty to exterminate as many Jews as possible, including a discussion of a high-tech way to cremate as many bodies as possible with some industrial leaders. It is sickening, but that is the point. People, real people made these decisions, designed these horrors. The writing does everything it needs to. Not dialogue heavy, it is in fact very light touch. The movie gets a lot of space for the juxtaposition to breathe, and in a sense, that is a writing skill in itself. Whilst the direction and visuals are, I want to say here, are perfect, and by perfect I mean if we deem how effective it is in creating the meaning and purpose of the film in its fullest essence. If so, then I cannot speak higher of this aspect of the film. For once, I would gladly give this full marks. Jonathan Glazer, who also directed creepy sci-fi art house horror Under the Skin, has crafted a haunting masterpiece here. Again, the synthesis of the writing, acting, visuals, and direction are also interlaced with ingeniously used and layered sound design. There is no music or theme per se in this film. There are, however, these haunting drone noises and two key sequences where we, as the audience, are forced to endure two blank screens, one black and one red, whilst this haunting, droning frequency is played at very high volume. The first, which opens the movie, lasts for a good few minutes, and I don't know if they have chosen some kind of specific frequency that has a bodily effect, but I felt unbelievably uncomfortable in the cinema. It was almost existential. As mentioned, the fact we hear the crematoriums rumble, hear people getting shot and killed out of sight, and, in the ways of these Nazis, out of mind, in fact, for the characters to just go about their lives, have family discussions with all this going on, is powerful and again cleverly juxtaposed. This is a film that must be seen in the cinema. The immense sound design can only be truly appreciated that way. Seeing this in any other form would not have the same impact. There are so many layers to this film, and a thorough analysis of it all could take hours. One particular part at the end, which time jumps to present day, where we see cleaners cleaning the Auschwitz halls, which is now where the public may visit. The cleaning, performing perfunctory normal tasks whilst mountains of shoes and cases sit behind the glass screens they are cleaning, is one particular part I have been trying to interpret and would welcome any of your inputs. Is the director saying that even now, we, like Hess and his wife, don't comprehend or really relate to what happened in the Holocaust and the tragedy that was committed, that perhaps we go about our lives like it was just a thing of the past, which it is, or something that really has no meaning to us that we merely pay lip service to. The cleaners do their job. They don't think about what the place is they're cleaning or the history or the meaning of it, but why should they perhaps? Is it that we simply forget and fail to remember this tragedy? That we sit on the other side of the wall in the beautiful home and garden and fail to acknowledge the atrocities, to remember them? I haven't figured this out myself, but there was something equally creepy about this part, and no doubt there is a cutting message being put back on us as the audience, and not just a simple reminder that this really happened. If so, why would the cleaners be in these scenes? This movie is phenomenal. Everything has been tightly interwoven to remind us of the horrors of the Holocaust and the extreme dehumanization that took place to carry it out, truly showing the monsters that once existed. Ultimately, the zone of interest is expertly crafted, perfectly performed, and visually and orally disturbing on an immensely impactful level. It is a masterfully powerful piece of cinema and essential viewing for all. Drop everything you are doing and go see this at the cinema.